Welcome everyone to another CTC software webinar. My name is Chris Bircher, Director of Technical Services here at CTC, and today we are going to take you on a quick little tour through the Import and Link Manager tool from the CTC BIM Manager Suite, and just make sure you see how the tool works, everything that it has to offer, and then take some time at the end to answer any questions that you might have. And on that note, if you do have questions, please use the questions panel within the go-to space. I will be monitoring those as I go along and will do my best to answer all of them in line with the presentation. If I miss anything or something doesn't make sense to answer, I will certainly take time at the end to answer anything that I've missed. If you are watching the recording on our YouTube channel, please use the comment sections below. We also monitor those and we'll make sure that you get your questions answered in a timely fashion. And with that said, we'll just jump right into it. Now, Revit has some work to do on the dealing with managing of links and imports. They have a window. It's a serviceable window. You can get by with it. But there are certain aspects to that that could be better, like managing multiple files at one time, taking an import, converting it to a link, taking a link, converting it to an import, better reload from abilities, and there's just the whole 9 yards. And just getting a better report of everything that's going on. Now, they've made some improvements. I will add that there are some improvements that have been made, so they're getting better, but there's still some stuff missing. So today's webinar is going to take you through the Import and Link Manager tool from our Manager Suite and show you how everything works. And that's really all we're doing today. So we're going to show you the Import and Link Manager, guide you through the UI, where everything is, what buttons are available. We're going to take a look at imports and links, and what you can do with them, and how the management of that will work in this app. And, just kind of how it all works. We'll walk through a few things. I'll show you another little cute feature that we have that is a right-click feature that gets installed as part of your Windows right-click options in the registry, and just show you everything there is to show you. And we can't really do that in a PowerPoint, so we're going to jump right into Revit here and make it happen. There we go. Okay, now, so on the CTC Management tab is where we'll have Import Link Manager. So let's paint a little picture here real quick. There's a couple of different scenarios where you would need to manage a linked model or your linked files or imported files for that matter. Brand new project, we need to bring a bunch of stuff in. Or maybe you're working in a starter project environment and you have placeholder links. And now I have saved the project to its folder on our network or on BIM 360/ACC. And now I need to reload all my links. I've gotten stuff from my consultants. I've got background models I need to bring in or background CAD files I want to bring in. And I've got them all set up as placeholders. I need to do a massive reload from on everything. Or you want to manage a file, your links midway through a project. Maybe you got a different linked file to use, and for whatever reason, they changed the name. Or maybe you found that links were on the wrong work sets. Or some need to be pinned and others don't. Or you just want to do some review, right? Just to get an overall idea of where your links are at. Import Link Manager can help you with all of that. So let's just fire it up. And it's coming. It's loading up all my links right now. Unfortunately, it's on the other screen. And there it goes. So I've got a lot going on in this particular file. And for a small file, this is just crumbs compared to some projects that are out there. But what we've got here is a master tab that will start off by showing you everything. as far as the link itself, what element ID was given, how it was brought in, the work set, what view, if it was linked or imported to a view, reference types, is it on sheets or not, the type of element again, room bounding or not, pinned or not, where the file is located, its path type, and potentially file size. And this is just a master list. This can be managed in your options. You can control what information is important and meaningful to you. So if there's something here that's redundant or just you don't really care, uncheck the box. It won't show up in your list anymore. It won't be one of the columns in your list anymore. If you wanted to find out what this actually was, like maybe you found duplicate links, right? Because that does happen, or the same CAD file imported it one place or linked in another place, or it was linked to a specific view, and based off the browser organization, you're struggling to find the view. We do have the ability to show this object, and it will bring it to you, and it will open that view if it's not already open. Now, and if you want, you can pare it down. Show me the links. Show me the imports. And that's just how it was brought in. Show me Revit links. Show me CAD links. All right, so we've got some built-in filters here to kind of get you access to what's more important at that moment in time. Now, so I'm going to pop back a step and go to my imports. We'll start here. I've got some CAD files that have been brought in. So, and these are different parts of the building. I've got the same one in here a couple of different times. Actually, looks like 3 times. And they were all brought into specific views. And I know that because the work set name says view something. And, you know, one was brought into someone's working plan, and another one was brought into someone else's working plan at the same level. And then one was an existing set. So what we have the ability to do with this, if we need to, is we can convert this to a linked file if we want to, just by simply doing a reload from on this. Right. So right now it's giving me a relative location. I'm not even exactly sure where this is coming from. So what I can do is do a swap reload, just like you would on a typical reload from on a link. I can do that also on the import. So I can say swap reload from file and browse to the folder where this is supposed to live. Now, whether it's on the network, maybe it's desktop connector, that is all quite all right. I've got a copy for ease of use, not there. Actually, it is there, isn't it? No, it's not. Just kidding. There it is, CAD files. Sorry. And we're looking for X-06, blah, 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 B-LL. Here we go. So when I pick a new folder location and hit open, okay, so it's yelling at me because it's got the same thing in here 3 times, which, you know, for the most part, it should be fine because of how it's bringing it in. But if I'm going to convert to a link, I got to do a little bit of cleanup first. So what I'm going to do is this: grab these 2 guys and just remove them right out of the gate, and then go back and do my reload from. And why I'm trying to show you this is because you'll get the opportunity here to convert it to a link and specify its reference type. So I go back to this now, and here we go. So now I get my import link window, and it, by default, it's showing me how it was brought in, which in this case was an import. I can now convert that to a link. I can adjust the placement options here, or I can preserve it, right? So if I remember how it was brought in, I can preserve that positioning so it doesn't shift around. Or I can change it to be just give me center to center or origin to origin. So if it was brought in a certain way, I can now maintain that positioning. I can also change how the layers and the coloring schemes are being used, just like you would if you were bringing this in for the first time using Revit. So all of those options are the same. And, you know, the host view, honestly, I'm linking it in, so I want it to be everywhere, right? I could have said, don't touch it, leave it alone. I don't know what it's being used for, but I want this everywhere, and I want this to be placed on the appropriate work set, which is either CAD link or maybe existing would be another option. So now I'm bringing it in. It's going to run through, it's going to reload it, pick up all my changes that I had done, should show me the updated instance of it here. And actually, technically what should happen is it should remove from here, which it did. And it should now show up on my CAD links tab, which it does. And it brought it in because I had the sheet view open. It brought it in here, but technically it should still be linked into the entire model. And now it's telling me what its overall file size is. And if I need to change the work set, I can change the work set. I can also unpin it if I need to move it and shift it somewhere else. We can do some of that extra adjustments here at this time. The same thing works in the Revit space. Okay, we're dealing with Revit files, so those can only be linked in this which is good, unless you import it in as a group, and that's completely different, or converted it to a group, for example. But some of the rules we have some additional tools that may be more beneficial, like reloading from the cloud, right? I might be starting a new project, and I've just saved my model to the cloud. I've saved these, my consultants or the subcontractors, they've got their files up there. I need to reload those in now. So we have that ability. We have the swap reload from ACC or BIM 360. It'll work in both spaces. We have an app on the on the cloud app store for Autodesk, and you'll get to go ahead and choose, whether you're in the BIM 360 hub or if you're in the newer unified space for the construction cloud. There is an app store. It's the same configuration. It's the same CTC software, ACC BIM 360 connector. You add that to your hub, and then if you have access to a project, you will see that in your list, and you will be able to see all of the Revit files associated with that project. Now, in my case, I grabbed that file, and I don't exactly know what file that is. I'm going to back out real quick. That's my architectural site. So let's do this again. And I didn't actually load that one up. So that's okay. I loaded these up though. So I'm going to grab the structural file, go back to my office building for 2024, project files. Here is the structural file. I can hit OK. It'll do the reload from. It's going to source from the cloud. It's going to update the path type to show me that, not only in location, but in the type, so that if you wanted to turn one or both of these things, one of these off, you could. And then it's updating the model at the same time. So it's actually reloading it. And you can see the little status bar down here flicker a little bit. It went ahead and did the job for me. And here we go. And if it was marked as room bounding before, it holds on to that. If it was pinned before, it'll hold on to that. If it needs to be pinned or not room bounding, with that selected, you have all of those options up here at the top. So I can pin it. I can make it not room bounding if my structural file needs to not be room bounding, or on the flip side, make it room bounding. And you can select multiple entities in this list and change them all at the same time if you prefer. So I'm going to actually set this one to no, and grab the other two and set them to yes when it's done loading. There we go. And I'm going to set these to yes. So, and then again, you can do a quick reload here if you need to. If you know the model's up to date, or the models have updated and you want to get an insta fix on them, you can do that here and just hit reload. You want to change the reference type from overlay to attachment. If that's something that needs to be done, it got linked in the wrong way the first time, you can do that. If you notice something's on the wrong work set, change it. It's going to list everything that's current for that project. You shouldn't have any issues making those changes. Now, I'm just noticing that my electrical link didn't update for me, and that's likely because it can't find it. Because I didn't, it's still looking at my 2020 placeholder file effectively. I upgraded this for 24 because I don't like 2020 anymore. Nothing against it, it's just old. So I'm not going to do that right now, but excuse me. Now, so it updated my work set for me. Again, I can pin it, mark it room bounding. I could reload from a file on my network and switch it up. If I wanted to, if I had a project folder where all my links were contained, I could effectively grab everything and specify that folder. If the file names are the same, it will move everything and update the file paths and reload all your files. If you're doing this from a placeholder link standpoint, very likely your placeholder link and the project file that you are trying to reload with, those names won't match. So a swap reload from technically won't work. You could theoretically at that point do a find and replace. And you effectively are giving it an explicit file name to replace it with. And that will help you do that reload from with a different name, because we're directly pointing it to something that it needs to change with. So that's a way around it. You can't necessarily do that inside of Revit, but you can with our tool. Then if your project is just that large, you've got that much going on, if it helps, you can save a report out to an Excel file, just to help you manage it a little bit more. Maybe it's easier to see there. You could spread everything out. You can use it for additional project management purposes and load it up into your database if you need to. If it's just helpful to have records of what's being brought in, and it's nice and clean, easy to see. It's an Excel document, similar to what this looks like, but not, you don't have to open Revit to get that list anymore. You can just go back to your document and check it out. And so that's really everything about the Import Link Manager app that you see here in front of you that you would need to know. You can do a reload from, you can convert imports to a link as long as you're not stepping on your own toes. You can pin things, you can unpin them, room bounding or not, change the work set, reload from BIM 360 or ACC if that's where your projects are going. You can batch remove a bunch of stuff all at once if you need to. And you can bring yourself to that object if you're not sure what it is. So if I hit show object on that and it's got a view that it can find it in, it's going to go ahead and open that view and show me that element. And here we are. This should be my level 1 drawing. There it is. So it did exactly what I expected it to do, which is great. Now, last but certainly not least, there is one additional feature that most individuals forget about, and that is you actually have access to some of these functions in your right-click menu. Just like if you were to right-click a file that you found in your File Explorer or Folder Explorer. Okay, so let me just pull this over real quick. I've got Revit files. And, traditionally, we all have Revit files on our servers. And maybe you received a file from someone, or you pulled one out of the archives and you want to try to figure out where your links were, or you just want to get an overview of what's in the link without actually opening it. So I can jump to, say, Revit 23, right-click any of these Revit files, and hit Manage Revit Links. I'm sorry, Manage Revit Project Links. It makes more sense this way. And you will get another window to pop up that will tell you, not that one, I'm going to close that one just so there's no confusion here. And you will get another window to pop up that will give you your links. So maybe I stepped on my own toes again. It'll show up right next to Revit Properties, which gets installed along with the BIM suites again. And there. Oh, okay, fine. I had that file open. Let's change a different version. That's okay. That's okay. We'll go to 22. How about that? No, I just realized I have Revit 23 open, so it didn't like that. So we'll open up, we'll check this one. And there it goes. So this is separate from Revit. If I didn't have Revit open, I would still get this. And that's because we've got a little extra service added to Windows to show up in your right click that is looking at the files for you. And it's telling you what's in that file, what's been brought in. So it's showing you everything, right? So I do see my Keynote text files and my uniformat classifications file. That's because those are being referenced. They're not imported per se, but they are referenced. You can change file paths for those things. And because this project was upgraded, well, all my projects, because they're all the same one technically, have been upgraded for quite some time. These are being brought along for the ride, even though they may not exist in those locations anymore. But I see everything that's sourced, and I can unload them, I can remove them, I can reload them, I can change what folder we're sourcing from. I can do all of that right here, just like you could with Import Link Manager. The only main difference here is I don't physically have to open the file to see this. I can just do it all right here and click apply. And it will effectively write a little mini script that will make those changes the next time you open the file. So, and it's stored with the Revit file so that you can open it whenever you want at that point. So I could technically say my S20, if we tell it to load from a file, and oh, I didn't upgrade that one, or any of them for that matter. So I'll just make one up. We'll do this. I'll grab this one, load from file, and we'll go backwards to here. Don't yell at me if I'm linking up a link that doesn't exist. But so it'll hold on to that. Right now it's unloaded, and that's okay. But the next time I open this 2022 file, it's going to load this particular link instead of the E20. So it's going to take care of everything for me. So this is a great way to do a reload from on a new project or an upgrade without having to open each and every single file and reload all the links. You can do it with this, and then when you open it, it's doing all the work for you. So it's pretty slick, rather powerful. And because if I click apply, it's going to try to do it right now. So if people are still in it, you might want to make sure they're out so they don't get an unpleasant surprise, or you won't get interrupted because maybe they made a change to the links graphics, and you get a work set problem. So I'm going to back out because I don't know if anyone has that file open. This particular one is stored. The original one of this is stored somewhere else, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes and really make sure that no one didn't save incorrectly, because that happens sometimes. So at any rate, it's an option. You have many of the same loading and reloading if you need it. So it's all here if you need it. Cute little feature that goes unnoticed quite a bit, or it's forgotten about just because it's in your right click. Most people don't think about it. And it will come in at the same time as this little Revit properties guy here too, which will give you basic file information, but sometimes we want Revit project links. So we get that one too. Now, and that takes care of us for today. I hope you learned something about Import Link Manager that you didn't necessarily already know. And if you didn't know it at all, well, then I hope you learned about a new tool and that you're loving it. And that takes care of me for today. So I appreciate you guys. It's been a pleasure. Love doing webinars for you. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Take care, everybody.